Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dig into a topic that's, well, literally right under our feet, but it's absolutely critical to our food, our environment, and yeah, our health. We are talking about India's soil emergency.
So let's just jump right in with a question. What does that fresh, earthy smell of rain, you know the one, what does that have to do with your health? It might sound totally random, but trust me, it's at the very heart of this entire story.
To answer that, we first have to talk about something we've lost, a smell that used to be everywhere, but now it's disappearing. You see, that amazing smell actually has a name. It's called petrichor. And here's the wild part. That fragrance doesn't come from the dirt itself or even the water. It's literally the scent of life, tiny microorganisms in the soil releasing this incredible aroma. But here's the alarm bell. Experts are telling us that beautiful scent is vanishing from our farmland.
So why? Why is it disappearing? Well, for decades, we've been laser-focused on the wrong thing. We've been completely obsessed with soil fertility, you know, the chemical stuff like nitrogen and phosphate, but we've totally ignored soil health, the biological life, the living, breathing ecosystem in the soil. We've basically been treating our land like a sterile chemistry lab instead of the living organism it actually is. Okay, so if our usual lab tests are only looking at the chemistry, how on earth are we supposed to measure the life in the soil?
Well, the soil expert Dr. Sultan Ismail gives us this powerful and honestly beautifully simple answer.
And this just makes so much sense. Think about it. When you go to a doctor, what's one of the first things they do? They check your pulse, right? It's a quick, simple sign of your overall health. Well, in exactly the same way, just seeing a humble earthworm is like checking the pulse of the soil. I mean, if a soft-bodied little creature like that can survive and thrive, it tells you the whole complex ecosystem is working.
So what is that pulse telling us about the state of India's soil right now? Well, this is where it gets pretty scary. The numbers are shocking.
0.15%. According to the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, that's the average level of organic carbon in India's soil today. Just let that sink in for a second.
Now, to really understand what that 0.15% means, you have to know that the required healthy level for a climate here in India is somewhere between 2 and 5%. We are not just missing the target here. We are in a full-blown crisis. This huge gap you see here, it's a clear sign of a national emergency.
And if you want to put in even starker terms, Dr. Ismail does not mince words. He describes the state of India's soil as almost reaching the ICU. It's a medical emergency, but for our land.
So this begs a really important question, right? Why is this happening? And if the problem is really this bad, why can't the farmers, the people working the land every single day, why can't they just fix it?
Well, the tough reality is that farmers are often trapped in a system that's working against them. I mean, think about it. When a farmer goes to get credit, it's often not even given as cash. It's handed over as chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Then you have government subsidies that are almost all for those same chemical inputs. The minimum support prices, the MSP, they only cover a handful of crops, so there's no incentive to grow diverse things. And on top of all that, the insurance against floods or droughts is really weak. The system itself is basically set up to reward extracting from the soil, not regenerating. So when you have a problem that's this systemic, you need a solution that's just as systemic. This calls for a massive shift in how we think about the entire food system. And here is that big strategic shift. Instead of what we have now, a farmer push model, where all the pressure is on farmers to change against impossible odds, we need to move to a consumer pull model. This is where consumers, people like you and me, start creating the demand for food that's grown in healthy, living soil.
So how do you actually create that pull? Well, there's a proposed strategy called Harit Kranti 2.0 that gives us a kind of blueprint. It's about orchestrating the whole ecosystem. First, you enable farmers through a huge network of rural outlets. Second, you make sure the inputs are credible, with certified regenerative products. And then, and this is the key, you create consumer access by using all the health and wellness retail points out there, finally connecting the dots from the farm to your fork.
And this brings us right back around, full circle, to that very first question. Why does a simple smell from the soil matter to your health?
This flow right here makes the connection crystal clear. It's a simple chain reaction. It all starts when we regenerate the soil with organic carbon. That healthy, living soil then grows healthy, nutrient-packed crops. And those healthy crops, in turn, nurture healthy people. Dr. Ismail calls this the One Health concept, and it's this direct, unbreakable line from the health of our ground to the health of our society. So you see, healthy soil, healthy people isn't just some catchy slogan. It is a system solution. This is about rebuilding our national resilience, creating a kind of preventative healthcare strategy that starts, quite literally, from the ground up.
And that leaves us with one final thought. At the end of the day, what we consumers demand is what gets produced. Every single time you buy food, you're casting a vote. So the question is, what future are you going to vote for?
Harit Kranti 2.0, powered by the collective strength of 12 national partners. Join today and become an active part of India's green transformation.